You're on in three, two, one.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode, edition, special, whatever of The Hang Up. I'm Matt Dillahunty. Joining me this week, Mandisa Thomas. Let me tell you what the rules are for today, because I know there's only a few of you here. Some of you haven't migrated over fully from. Oh, and now I heard the 3, 2, 1 again the second time. Nice. That's because I have not bothered to mute YouTube. Now I have. See, now you know I'm watching you, which means you can get away with murder. But luckily, there's only a handful of you here right now. We're gonna here. Today is my first day. Hi, I'm Matt. Um, I understand language, and I understand logic, and I don't know anything significant about any religion. I don't know anything significant about anything supernatural or purported. So tonight is your chance. You get to explain and you get to do lots of explaining because instead of you saying, I don't know, something, and then immediately I'm like, oh, that's this argument. Here's the rebuttal. Boom, you're done. Goodbye. Um, Instead, we're going to test and see if you can explain what you believe and why in a way that is understandable to virtually anyone, that you can explain why others should share that belief. What is the compelling reason? And whether it doesn't matter, whatever it is, faith, evidence, empirical evidence, um, really long odds, whatever it is, you get to state what it is, and then we'll probably ask questions about it. Now, here's the thing. I know there's somebody who's waiting to call in to talk to me about something where I can't pretend that it's my first day. And so if that's the case, then you can just ask me to drop the conceit and I'll play normal for the duration of that call. But for the rest of it, not only am I going to do my best um, to maintain that teach me I'm a newbie thing, but I am also not going to lose my mind. I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to cuss. Well, let me be clear. I might, for fun, utter some profanity between things, but there will be nothing that could be viewed as, oh my God, Matt lost his shit. And just to put that to the test, every 30 minutes, give or take, or after every call, whichever makes more sense for that process, we're going to put up a poll in chat. And the poll is going to be, I don't know what the exact phrasing, but it's going to be something like, did Matt lose his shit in that last half hour? And if you guys vote that I did, and remember, while this is for a good cause, it's also my bank account. But if in fact you guys say that I lost my shit in that 30 minutes, I will donate $50 to Black Nonbelievers, and we'll add it all up at the end. Um, so yeah, please be nice and honest in what you call out. Now, if you're a caller, by the way, Mandisa does not have to pretend like this is her first day. Mandisa is her own person who gets to do this however the hell she wants. If you're somebody who only wants to talk to Mandisa, I will honor that. I will just mute myself, shut up, and you can go. And if Mandisa wants to talk just to you and wants me to shut up, Mandisa has always had the ability and confidence to tell me to shut up whenever she wants. She just doesn't tend to do so, but she can. Why am I doing all this? I got a little sick last night, and I'm started. It's taken a little while to feel better. Somebody said this is Matt's swear jar, kind of. Um, I was actually watching Justin's live while I was getting ready to sit down here, and Justin had a Philbro on that was just absolutely dishonest as all get out, and it's becoming predictable and easy to see. And Justin was, of course, calling it out on, but Justin isn't going to yell and cuss at the guy. I would. And anybody who thinks I'm wrong for doing so, okay, that's fine. But just for fun, I've done this for so long. Um, that usually by the time somebody says the first sentence or two, I have a pretty good idea of where that call is going, what the arguments are going to be, and what sort of questions to ask that would shut them down. And maybe that isn't doing a good enough job at allowing them to teach themselves by talking. Maybe I'm too stuck in the nope, shut down the nonsense. Nope, shut down the nonsense. And maybe people aren't learning as much as they could have. And so I'm going to, because I can do anything, despite what some of you think. I mean, we've done Zen modes before. We've done entire shows where I have maintained my Zen. But all I want is good conversations and for people to actually be able to potentially learn something. And so that's what we're going to push for. That's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to start today by going through the list of upcoming conferences and events that I think that I know about that I'd like to point people to as well. Um, July 11th, Seth Andrews and No Illusions will be in Cincinnati, Ohio. That is, you can go to sethandrews.com/Cincinnati for that. And that is the day before July 12th, which is the Ark Encounter Protest 10th anniversary, right there in the same area, which is at www.arkresistance.com. The end of July, basically July 31st through August 2nd, that first weekend properly in August, that's NanoCon. And you can go to nanocon.rocks for more information. That's at Montgomery Bell State Park in Tennessee. It's outside of Nashville. I will be there performing a magic show along with, interacting with people, answering questions, all kinds of stuff. August 21st through 23rd is BajaCon in Sarnia, Ontario. You can go to bajacon.com for that. And what's weird, let me pull up my Unholy Trinity. If you go to unholytrinity.net, you can find the information. Seth Andrews, Aaron Raw, and myself are putting the Unholy Trinity back together for a one-day August 29th event. Tickets are actually on sale now, and I hear they're going fast, so much so that there's been, I don't know, talk about whether anything like this will happen again. I don't know. I'm not in charge of it. I just show up and talk because I'm a lazy bastard, and that works best for me. But also, AHACon will be September 19th. That is an online convention. October 23rd through 25th is the Rocket City Reason. That's in Huntsville, Alabama. You can go to rocketcityreason.com. I'm right now, my understanding is that Arden will be there and I might be. Everything depends on, for those who don't know, we run an exotic pet business, and I have 22, 23 species of snakes and about 8 species of lizards now, and then all of the other animals that go along with that, plus a dog and a cat and 3 bunnies. And that means we can't be gone very long together. It's made this current period of time great because we're both here, but let's be fair. Arden's laying on the couch while she recovers, and I am taking care of stuff. And it's awesome to get to spend more time together, but it also means it's not the same as a vacation. And so one of these days we'll get a vacation. And the last one I want to mention on the upcoming events, and this is where Mandisa is going to come in, as well as talking about one that just happened, and that is November 28th through December 6th is BNCCon. That's BNSEACON. That's Black Nonbelievers Cruise. You can actually see part of the logo behind Mandisa. Welcome. I've blabbed enough. It's my first day. Learn me some shit.
Hey.
That doesn't count as profanity. That's just fun.
It is amazing to be back on the show, Matt, especially with you. And actually, I will be at the Ark Encounter protest as a speaker, NanoCon as a speaker. I'm actually going to be, I know you didn't mention this one, but Dragon Con will be a Dragon Con. That's the huge one here in Atlanta, but and I'll be at Rocket City Reason as well. So we'll see each other
You're
a few
everywhere.
times this summer. Yeah, it's going to be great. And This 2 weeks ago, we at Black Nonbelievers just hosted our Revival of Reason, the second one, and that celebrated 15 years of Black Nonbelievers as an organization.
Awesome.
And some of our speakers were Himmet Mehta, whom you know very well.
I do.
We featured Jeremiah Kamara, who's been a long time collaborator with us. He's working on a new documentary. Yes, he's working on a new film. Of course, Cynthia McDonald was there. We also had Javon Bradley was one of our speakers, as well as Gallus engineer John Gleason. He actually did a rap.
He's not black.
No, he's not. But guess what? He was there, and he was rapping. And Cynthia and I were dancing behind him. We were his backup dancers. He was also on our content creator panel. We also had Detroit Atheist Queen Kelly King, who is our Detroit affiliate leader.
Nice.
We had Cheris Horde, who is the outreach coordinator for the Freedom from Religion Foundation. And I want to give a special shout out to FFRF for being our biggest sponsor for the event. And Dan Barker was there playing keyboards for Godless Gospel as we sang, and he sang with us. And so we just had a number of folks who were local to the Atlanta area and who came out and flew out to support this event. And it was just it really, really was such a good time.
Good.
We should have the videos up very soon, but it really, really was great. And I want to give a shout out to everyone who supported Rocket City Reason, Secular Rising, the American Humanist Association, Recovering from Religion, and of course, the Freedom from Religion Foundation. And just a quick plug, even if you don't donate to contribute to Matt's swear jar, Black Nonbelievers, for us celebrating 15 years as an organization, does have a fundraising goal of $50,000. We are reaching it, but we could always use your help with that. So please do go to blacknonbelievers.org/donate to help contribute to our 15th anniversary goal, because we will be busy this summer, as we are always busy doing our very important outreach and collaborations, and we need the support. So thank you very much to everyone who attended and supported the Revival of Reason. We've gotten some really, really good feedback from everyone who was there. It was just such a good time.
Somebody in chat asked me to lay off Canadians Day, and somebody else messaged me on Facebook Messenger. They were there was an old clip where I was in a heated argument with somebody. I think Ian was on with me, and I was like, "You're from Canada, so I'll speak slow," and I was like, I just assumed that the people who watch regularly already get it. That we love Canada, which is one of the reasons why we make fun of their fake money and the fact that you guys are evidently high on BC Bud all the time, and all kinds of stuff. But now that my country is officially the dumbest fucking country on the planet, I sarcastically make fun of Canadians in order to pretend that there's somebody who's dumber than us when there really is nobody dumber than us.
I can't argue with that right now. Oh my gosh.
It hurts so bad.
Ooh. Yes.
So I'm sorry, Canada, but Matt and Trey said I have to blame Canada, and I'm dumb enough now with Idiocracy that I will blame Canada. All
yes.
Right. So I'm gonna put myself. Oh, you needed to talk about CCon real quick.
Yes, I do. So that'll be the last thing, and thank you for shouting it out in your in the roster of events. So BNCCon is taking place from November 28th through December 6th. Our sale dates are the 29th through December 5th. And you can still get in a deposit. Of course, the deposit amounts have increased because of the time frame, but you can still get in on BNCCon. We will be aboard the Carnival celebration. Some of our special guests will include yours truly, Godless Engineer, Black Atheist Rants, Candace Gorham, Deanna Williams. And so please do join us for about a week where we will be aboard a ship and we will be discussing life as non-believers and how we can still work together and work on things that are going on in this crazy ass country right now, while also continuing to remind ourselves that community is important, that we should not lose our sense of joy in in this time, because I think that is actually a byproduct of what this organization, what this administration actually wants. Chaos, they thrive on it. And sadly, they're causing it, but we cannot let them rob us of our joy. So join us for BNCCon. You will have a wonderful experience. And of course, join us for as many of the events as you can. And congratulations on getting the Unholy Trinity back together. I'm sure that's going to be fantastic.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we're old and decrepit, and nobody should be listening to us anymore. But I'm not as old as the president, so I'll keep working. All right. We have a caller on hold, and somebody, they hung up and reconnected several times, and I think it might be because it's a long-distance call. But Felix is calling from, I think it's Puerto Rico. Pronouns are he, him, who wants to talk about the obviousness.
How much longer? Because this is a long-distance call. How much longer?
I'm literally announcing you live right now, Felix.
Okay, thank you.
So Felix is calling from Puerto Rico. Theist, pronouns are he, him, and he wants to talk about the obviousness of God. And today, as a reminder, is my first day, so I don't know anything but language and logic. Felix, what's going on?
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm all right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Go.
Okay. Do you know what something obvious is?
Do I know what something obvious is?
Yes, obvious.
Yes.
What do you think it is?
The nose on my face is obvious.
Why?
Because it is apparent and visible and detectable to anyone with the senses to do so.
Because you don't need any explanation from anybody to give you?
No, that's not the reason. I gave you the reason.
What was the reason again? I'm sorry.
Because it is detectable by anyone with the ability to detect it. It has nothing to do with whether or not I understand it or have an explanation. I may not understand my nose.
Right. And also, if someone doesn't know what a nose is, you can point right to it. And it's and you can also describe it for the visually impaired.
But my question is, do you need somebody to explain you something that is obvious to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because when I was a little kid, I didn't know what a nose was until somebody explained it to me, even though I could see it.
But right now, do you need somebody to explain it?
No, because somebody has already explained it.
So it's obvious. So there are different degrees of obviousness?
No.
My nose was just as obvious before I knew what it was as it is now that I know what it is.
And we can also explain the functions of the nose and why, if we don't have it, how our bodies and also our minds would would be impacted.
I'm sorry, there's a delay, and I can't understand very well because there's some kind of delay.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay, so something obvious needs somebody to explain it to you. That's the conclusion?
before I understand anything, either someone who already understands it must explain it to me, or I must investigate it in order to learn and develop an understanding. Yes.
So what makes it obvious?
We can see it. We can point to it. We can also point to the probably billions of other noses that are on people's bodies on the planet.
Yeah. And it's going to be obvious.
You need somebody who. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's going to be obvious to different people to varying degrees, because someone without sight isn't going to see it, but they could still feel it. That sort of thing.
And I'm sorry, I must interject. I totally forgot. Not just humans, but there are also many other species that have noses
and can identify noses. Like
yes.
My dog likes when I boop his snoot. Her snoot. Wow, I just misgendered my dog.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
Steel man your argument. You are saying that there are degrees of obviousness, correct?
Yes.
Some need explanation, some don't need any explanation, correct?
No.
That is not correct.
All of them need explanation, either from someone else who already knows or from investigation.
Okay. So obviousness need explanation.
In order to understand it. So there's a difference between being aware of something and understanding something. Obviousness addresses whether or not you can be readily aware of the thing. Understanding it is completely different. Understanding is not obvious.
So give me something obvious that you have to think about it, or something obvious that you don't have to think about it, or give me any example of obviousness that you can think of.
I have no examples of something obvious that I don't have to think about. I like to think about everything.
So you can think about anything. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to ask. You, what is your example? Because you're the one. Clearly, you're getting at something.
Okay, if I say God is obvious, my thinking is obvious that I'm thinking. Is that obvious to me?
I don't know what you mean by God, so I would have to say that if I don't know what it is, I couldn't agree that it's obvious. And I would agree that the fact that you are thinking may be obvious to you, but that doesn't mean it's obvious to anybody else.
Okay, but we haven't defined obviousness clearly yet.
Yes, we did.
We did. You started by asking us for examples of obviousness, and we gave you. We went with the nose on our face.
So what is the definition, the final definition of obviousness, so we can get it clear and ready to have it for
I've already
God
given it to you. I don't understand why I need to repeat it.
Okay, you don't have to repeat it.
Thank you.
Okay, so God is obvious. A tree,
no, he's
when
not.
you see it, why not?
Well, how can I say something is obvious if I've never detected it?
Have you ever detected the principle of whole parts?
The what?
The principle or law or whatever you want to call it, whole parts. Is that obvious?
I don't know what you're talking about, and so no, it's not obvious.
It is obvious.
You said the principles of love. Can I
But it's like God. It needs to be explained to somebody that something is obvious, but like God, it needs some explanation, but still obvious. So you never heard the part-whole principle?
I don't know what you're talking about, but a principle. So you said God is obvious. How does this principle show that God is obvious?
Okay, the principle is just like God. You don't understand the principle right now, but I will tell you, and you will understand it immediately when I say it.
I'd like for you to do that,
The
please.
part, the
So
part whole
what is
principle.
so really quickly, Felix, what is the principle called, and then what is it?
Okay, the principle is called the part whole principle, and it says
I still don't.
that
Can you spell
The
that? Because I
partal
don't understand what you're
principle?
saying.
okay, I will say it now. The whole is the sum of its parts. Every whole is the sum of its parts. Have you ever heard that?
The part whole principle.
Okay. So yes, that sometimes people say the whole is more than the sum of its parts, but yes, the collection of constituent components is the sum total. Yes. What does that have to do with the God?
Is that obvious to you, that principle?
Is that supposed to explain the existence of God, Felix?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that supposed to explain the existence of God?
It gives an analogy about God.
How can an analogy show that God is obvious?
Because the analogy, you didn't know it until I explain it. And the same I will do with God.
Well, that's not true.
You don't
No.
And you don't know it until I
So Felix,
explain it
that's
to you.
not true. So Felix, I couldn't understand what you were saying. That doesn't mean that I hadn't heard of what you were talking about. So this idea that the sum of something is the collection of all of its parts is something that I have been presented with before. It might not have been obvious to me the first time, but once it was explained, it was not just apparent, but obviously true. But that's because somebody made a case for it. What does this have to do with God?
Exactly. The same with God.
No.
Know about God.
When I say, what does it have to do with God? Maybe it's a language barrier thing. When you say exactly, I'm asking you a question. I'm not making a statement. So in much the same way that there's a concept that something is made up of all of its constituent parts, how does that concept in any way demonstrate that God is real?
Is a universe or a tree or anything is a whole, that the parts is the sum of that whole?
Again, how does that, Matt asked Felix, how does that make God obviously real? How does that make God obvious?
Okay,
and also, which God?
Is the universe a whole with parts?
We're not talking about the universe, though. We're talking about God.
But I'll say the universe is a whole with parts.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to get us to start somewhere, I will say the universe is a whole that has parts. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you take the parts out of the universe, what is left?
Nothing.
Nothing, exactly. So that means the universe was created, correct?
No.
Why not?
Because that does not logically follow. That X is made up of parts does not in any way mean that X was created. And removing all of the parts also does not mean that X was created.
Is the universe contingent or necessary?
Oh, is the universe contingent or necessary? We don't know.
Are you necessary or contingent?
I am contingent as far as I can tell. There may be a model in which I am also necessary, but I am contingent.
Name one necessary object. in the universe.
I'm not able to identify any necessary object in the universe.
Therefore, what follows?
Nothing. The fact that I can't identify something, nothing follows from that.
Why not?
Because there's no conclusion one can reach from a single premise.
So nothing follows from something?
The fact that I am unable to identify a necessary thing does not in any way lead to a conclusion without some additional information.
Can the universe have always existed necessarily?
I have no reason to think that the universe could not have always existed.
So it's possible that it has always existed? Is that a possibility?
What's that? One more time?
Is it a possibility that the universe could have always existed?
I do not know if it's possible for the universe to have always existed.
Is it possible that you have always existed?
I do not see any reason to conclude that it's possible for me to have always existed. That's why I listed myself as contingent, but other things may or may not be contingent. Are you going to make an argument, or are you just going to keep asking us questions?
Are you radically different from all the objects around the universe that you know, or the same?
I am similar to some, and I am dramatically different from others, as long as we use relativistic definitions for dramatically. This is really strange.
Very.
And what is the most different object that you are different from?
I'm not going to waste any more time on this, Felix. Your job here is to present an argument for the existence of God, and you've started by saying that God is obvious, and we have played along, and we have answered your 20 questions or more. And I'm waiting for you to present an argument for the existence of God.
The obvious existence of God at that.
Your argument for the existence of God, by the way, cannot in any way be contingent on what I think about anything. So let's try it.
Well, you are the one that thinks the universe that I need to prove the universe is contingent, right?
Yes, if you claim that the universe is contingent, you need to demonstrate that the universe is contingent.
And to who I need to prove that? To you?
Well, yes, if you plan to convince me, you would need to convince me. I mean, that's kind of a tautology.
And that's what I'm trying to do.
You're failing. You're failing, and you haven't done anything to demonstrate that you even understand the basics of logic, let alone, how could you possibly show? Let's just do this. How could you possibly demonstrate that the universe is in fact contingent?
Because you are contingent and every part around you is contingent.
No, that's a fallacy. No, that's a fallacy. The fact that something contains contingent things does not tell you if that thing is also contingent. That is a logical fallacy.
So are you saying there are necessary beings? Objects?
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is that was a logical fallacy. I'm sorry that this is difficult, but I didn't mention the words necessary or beings right then. All I said was that you presented a logical fallacy.
So if it's not contingent, what it is?
No. I'm not saying it's not contingent. I'm saying you claim that it's not contingent, and you have to demonstrate that it's not contingent. I have no idea if it's contingent or not.
No, I'm saying everything is contingent in the universe. Every part of the universe is contingent. Are you saying it's not? Are you denying that evidence?
As far as I can tell, every part of the universe seems to be contingent upon the universe, but whether or not the universe is contingent is still a separate issue.
By the universe, you mean the parts of the universe?
No, I mean the origin of the whole.
And what is the whole without the parts?
The whole without the parts is nothing.
Exactly. So when you say the universe, you are talking about the parts, the conglomeration of the
No,
parts.
when I talk about the universe, I'm talking about the whole.
And the whole is composed of the sum of the parts, correct?
Correct.
Therefore, if all the parts are contingent, is the whole contingent?
No, not necessarily. That's not how that works. That is the
What?
fallacy of that is the logical fallacy of composition.
They show me one thing that everything is made of
That's
that.
not
And
Why do
Felix,
y'all do this? Why do y'all do this?
Felix, that's not how
Jeez.
this works. Do you understand what a logical fallacy is?
I understand, but you haven't showed it.
Well,
I'm
it's-
You
sorry.
just say it.
No,
I'm sorry. The
it's-
question I asked was, do you understand what a logical fallacy is?
I understand.
Okay. If you have a logical argument and it contains a logical fallacy, is the conclusion of that argument... I'm sorry, I was still talking. If you have a logical argument and that logical argument is fallacious, does that mean that the conclusion is true, false, or undeterminable?
Well,
No. That would be another logical fallacy. That would be the fallacy fallacy. The fact that that an argument is fallacious does not mean that the conclusion is false. It means that the truth of the conclusion cannot be determined. So the question I asked, if you have a logical argument and it has a fallacy, is the conclusion true, false, or undeterminable? The answer is undeterminable. So if you have a logical argument that is fallacious, then we cannot know whether the conclusion is true or false, correct?
right.
Okay. So what is the fallacy of composition?
That the sum of the parts does not equal to the whole.
Not exactly, but you're close. What it means is that the properties of the parts do not apply to the whole. So for example, let's say we have a basketball team. And on this basketball team, there's a white guy. Does that mean that the whole team is white?
Not necessarily.
Correct. And if we don't know how many people of different races or different ethnicities are on a particular team, it would be a mistake to look at the parts that we see and just conclude that the whole must be like that, right?
I think so, yes.
That's exactly what you've done with the universe by asserting that, as far as you can tell, all of its parts are contingent, even though you have no ability. I think we would all agree, none of us have the ability to explore every part of the universe. But even if it turned out that all of the parts were contingent, that does not mean that the whole is contingent.
Okay, what is the whole in the basketball team?
The whole of the basketball team says it's time to go on to another caller.
Okay, man. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Felix.
You can put the poll up now. I'm going to bet money that I didn't lose my shit at all, because I'm not even really upset. It's
Yeah.
kind of it's kind of sad, because somebody has managed to teach him some things about contingency and what's necessary, and various, I don't know, he seems to have missed the crux of the logical fallacies. But I really wish we could have gotten to this notion that God is obvious.
Right. We never got there. And that's unfortunately quite common with these types of calls.
What I suspect was going to happen is that he was making a version of an argument from contingency that the universe must have come from somewhere, and that somewhere is obviously God. I think that's where obvious was going to come in. And even if I were to grant that the universe was contingent, I'm not convinced that we have any understanding of what exactly it is contingent upon. Certainly, I don't know that I could say that it was a God. But who knows? We've got other theists. And so as a reminder, today's my first day. That's the conceit. That's what I'm playing at. I've done this for 20 plus years, but I'm going to do my best to strive to only know language and logic, to ask more questions, and to say I don't know when I don't know, rather than shutting certain things down. So, by the way, Mandisa doesn't have to play. She can take over. You can take over the show and boot my ass out whenever you want.
Of course, I won't do that. But no, this is actually kind of fun, because that was quite an interesting call.
It was. We'll see how it goes. I think Felix is calling back. Weird. But we have Eric, pronouns are he, him, from New Jersey. Eric's a theist who wants to talk about the reincarnation of God. Hey, Eric, I guess I can't even necessarily say which God are we talking about, because go ahead and explain to us what it is you'd like to talk about, because this is genuinely, I think, the first time I've seen the words the reincarnation of God.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the preservation and conservation of energy. That's all. It's the process with God.
The preservation and conservation of energy.
Yeah, of energy.
What kind of energy?
The energy of where you came from.
I don't know what energy that is, or that I came from energy.
The energy you came from. The energy that's within your body.
Can you prove that I came from energy and that we need to preserve it?
Yeah, that's all of God.
Okay. How so? Yeah.
Yeah.
The galaxy you came from a galaxy, so that all comes to you from God.
Right now I'm in a galaxy that we call the Milky Way. Are you saying I came from a different galaxy?
Yeah.
How do you know what I came from a different galaxy?
Everybody came from a different galaxy.
Okay, but that doesn't tell me how you know that.
You came from a different galaxy, but you came to this galaxy.
How did we do that?
Astral travel. Space
Astral travel.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of what astral travel is. Can you explain it to me?
You have the silver cord. The silver cord that it's like an umbilical cord, but it's a silver cord that has all your genetics, which connects to your parents.
I was asking about astral travel.
Yeah, you have a silver cord. You astral travel with your silver cord.
To civil court?
A civil cord,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be similar to the silver cord.
Oh, a silver
cord.
So, okay, so Eric, you're saying that our parents who had sex also had this silver cord, and they astral projected us when they reproduced.
Yeah, they connected with you through love.
And God, how does God come into that?
Use the energy. Use the energy of you and everybody.
How can we know that?
That's the hard part. That's the difficult part.
Well, Eric, do you think you know that?
Yeah, you came from a galaxy.
Okay.
Before you came
So
to this galaxy, you came from a different galaxy.
That's something that you claim to know. I don't know that. Can you explain it to me so that I can know it?
I don't know how to explain it any further.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain any further.
Well, I'm wondering, are you aware that this is a show where people call in order to say what they believe and why we should believe it?
Yeah. It's the
So,
same process when your mother is pregnant with you. When your mother is pregnant with you, she has the umbilical cord.
Okay, so
She
but
has the
Eric,
umbilical cord. It's
I
the
have a
same process.
question. According to, and because
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing as Matt, right? You know, but even though I don't know, I'm looking up things based on what you say. So you're saying that we came here astrally, which is supposed to be by definition an outer
You
body experience. How does
you are
that?
connected. You are connected. Your silver cord is connected to a galaxy. That's the truth.
okay. How do we detect this silver cord?
It's energy. You can't see energy, but I can see
Well, I can
energy.
see the effects of energy, right?
Yeah, you can see energy. You can see the energy is
You
everywhere.
just said I couldn't see energy, and
Right.
now you're saying I can see energy.
Some people could. Some people could see energy.
Okay. Am I one of those people?
No, I don't think so.
Are you one of those people?
Yeah, I can see energy.
Cool. When you see energy, how would you describe that to me?
What do you mean?
Well, there are people who are people who are colorblind, and there are people who can see colors, right? You know that those people exist.
Yeah, that's the
And
same as seeing energy.
okay, great,
People
awesome.
who can see.
Because I can see color and I can prove that to someone who can't see color. So how can you prove that you can see the silver cord and energy?
It's the people who can see color. It's the people who can see energy.
Yeah, yes, I'm aware that your brain is currently in the mode where you're just going to connect whatever two things anybody says. But what I was asking was, I can see color, and if somebody can't, I can prove to them that I can. You think you can see energy, but I can't. And I'd like for you to prove to me that you can see energy. And also, if your statement was correct, that the people who can see color can see energy, you'll need to explain why I can see color but not energy.
You gotta have the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
Okay.
The Holy Ghost.
How do I get that?
I gotta do sex.
You got it through sex?
Yeah.
What kind of sex?
Just regular sex.
Just regular sex? Okay.
Huh?
Well, I'm evidently doing it wrong, Eric.
It comes from the galaxy. It comes
Okay.
from the divine.
Do you know the name of this galaxy?
No, it doesn't have a name.
How do you know that the galaxy that it comes from is divine?
I don't know that, but something is divine. Some energy can be divine.
You
How do you
don't
know
know it, you can't demonstrate it, but you know it.
People are connected. People are connected, so energy could be divine.
Okay. Well, I don't understand, so I'm just going to let you go. Thanks a lot, Eric.
All right.
You know, I understand I haven't had as much sex as some of my friends have. Um, but I've definitely had some sex and some variety of sex, not to, get into any details with anybody. I've had sex that like I felt amazing afterwards and almost metaphorically otherworldly. I don't recall
Right.
ever seeing energy. And what I don't think I want to find the drugs that let you do that. But if there was a way to have sex that would let you see energy, um, man, somebody let me know because
Right.
I kind of like find out. Well, we have more callers, and we have, um, I think what could be an interesting one, especially since I'm on my first day here, not knowing anything about anything other than language and logic. Josh is a theist calling from New York. Pronouns are he, him, and says belief is not based on truth. And Josh, I think I agree already, but go ahead and tell us what you're talking about.
So I can't say that I'm a very knowledgeable about the format or the listeners. However, the few people that I watched call in are trying to prove, or at least you said, this is a show where people call in and try to convince us of what they believe or prove what they believe. And belief is kind of relegated to the things that you can't prove. Whereas
No, that's not true.
knowledge, okay.
So a belief is any proposition that one accepts is likely true. And knowledge is a subset of belief. Every bit of knowledge that you have is a belief. In philosophy, it's defined as justified true belief. Colloquially, I like to say that knowledge is generally more about a confidence level, that you might believe something and you have good reason for it and you have good evidence for it, but it doesn't rise to the level of knowledge because you don't yet have an incredible confidence level. And so for me, knowledge is a belief held to such a high degree of confidence that it would be worldview altering to discover it was wrong.
That's what you would define a belief as.
No, that would be knowledge. Knowledge is a belief.
Knowledge, okay.
Held to such a high degree of confidence.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter.
So
even if you went
would
with the philosophical, even if you went with the philosophical justified true belief, it's still a belief.
Okay, I'm wondering if there's a word in English. I might just be getting my languages mixed up, but is there a word in English, like many people, and I'm going to use the word belief here, so it's a little confusing, but many people believe in God without any modicum of proof or anything like that. They just have a feeling and they believe. And I'm using belief in that term. Would that be more faith? What would be the word that you would use for that?
It's belief. The thing is, belief is the state of being convinced of something, and you can be convinced for good reasons or bad reasons. And I think all you did was describe bad reasons.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I see that we're this is more of a word game than a philosophical discussion. But I appreciate the time.
That's not true. That's not true.
I didn't mean it in an insulting way. I didn't mean it in a derogatory way. I just meant that I'm using words a different way, so we would have to tie different terms, and you know what I mean? Like,
well,
we'd just be talking past each other for too long.
We might be, but I mean, we could try. Like, for example, you're convinced that some God exists, right?
Yes.
I'm not convinced, and neither is Mandisa.
Right.
See, I think that there's a difference between the word convinced and believe. I think
I agree.
The word.
I agree. So a belief is the state of being convinced, and you can become convinced for good reasons or bad reasons. All convinced means is that you now hold a belief. So you hold a belief that God exists or some God exists, and we do not.
Correct.
So,
but
do you have reasons for that?
By way of fact.
Okay, so you don't care whether something's true, you just go with what you feel?
I do care about whether something is true or not, but when it comes to things which are like not provable, like the existence of God.
How do you know it's not provable?
There's no way to prove right or... I've never heard anybody prove it one way or the other.
That doesn't...
I think if it was provable,
does the fact that you haven't heard something mean it isn't possible?
No, but I think the disproof of a deity would be big enough news that it would have made it past at least even my radar.
I would agree. Why is it okay? Is it rational to believe something that you think can't be proved either way?
I don't know if it is. I don't know. That's a good question. I've never thought about the rationality of it. Being rational is not like my primary North Star, I would say. But so hold on a second. So you agree that it's not whether God exists or not is unknowable or unprovable.
No.
So you think that it has been proven that God doesn't exist?
No. I have no idea whether or not it's possible to prove any particular God, but I would agree with you. It would be very surprising to find that it had been proved and we hadn't heard about it. That's what I was agreeing with.
Oh, you're okay, but equally that it had been disproved and we hadn't heard of it either would also be equally as difficult to
I don't
fathom.
even know. So, do you know what the word unfalsifiable means?
Yes.
Okay. Almost every major god that I've been presented with in, well, actually, I'm in the I don't remember things because it's my first day, but I'm not convinced that someone has presented an unfalsifiable God. And since you are advocating for a God that you think cannot be proven or disproven, it sounds to me like you are claiming that you believe in an unfalsifiable God. And to me, that is by definition irrational.
Hold on a second. I'm not too proud. I might have misunderstood what unfalsifiable is. Can you give me the definition?
There is no way to demonstrate that X is false. Makes X unfalsifiable.
Yeah. Okay, yes. Okay, so I did understand. So I believe in a God that I believe you can't prove his existence one way or the other.
Sure.
And you're saying that you find that to be irrational.
Yes. One of the key aspects of the philosophy of science and epistemology is falsifiability, that in principle, there must be some way to demonstrate that the claim is not true. Otherwise, it is a useless claim because you could have 1 million, and that's just a number, a round number for the fun of it, 1 million different propositions that are all unfalsifiable, and they will all have equal foundation, and you would be forced by reason to accept all of them, even though they are contradictory, and you would have to maintain them forever because you have no way to falsify them.
Okay, so but then I might counter and say that you are saying that these are the rules of science, but God is not. Science doesn't deal with the existence of God, so it's irrelevant.
No, actually, I said science, but I also said epistemology. That's how we know what we know. But also, if God is something that interacts with reality in a detectable way, then science can assess it.
Can assess, well, I mean, so then you just prove God doesn't exist because science doesn't detect it.
No, he didn't say that.
There's plenty of things that science hasn't detected yet that it might later detect, right?
Got it. So that's the gray area. It's yet undetermined.
I don't know if it's undetermined. It's possible that somebody has detected God and just not told us.
Oh, yeah. But highly unlikely.
I would colloquially, yeah, I would guess. Well, today is my first day and I'm not supposed to know things about the past, which is a little difficult for me. But yes. So back to the question. You believe in a God that you think is unfalsifiable and that you think you can't have sufficient evidence to warrant belief, right?
Like evidence as in like scientific evidence. Like I could say like I feel a certain way and that's evidence for me, but you would say, well, I don't have your feelings, so that doesn't help.
Well, I would, Josh, I would also add anything that could be verified. And that does include the scientific method, but that's not the only way.
Anything that could be verified, I didn't follow it. Anything that can be verified outside of the scientific method for the existence of God.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe, then everything is proof, and if you don't, everything is proof. So it seems like you can
Josh,
spin that from either side.
Josh, that is the definition of delusion.
Hold on a second. Let me just.
Whoa.
No. Let me talk it out. Let me talk it out. If you're a believer, right? You look at the universe, and you'll say, like, you know, there's an expression, clockmaker, right? Like, you look at the precision of the universe and how it perfectly fits for the existence of life, and you go, precision, that is proof. And somebody else says, well, if you have enough infinite space, so then you'll have a little bit of precision in certain places. That's not proof. It's just infinite possibility, right? So that's what I mean when I say it depends which side you look at it from. I don't know if either one of those you can prove right or wrong.
The problem is you can. So one of the problems is, can you name any fact about the universe that more strongly points to being caused by a God than any other natural explanation?
I mean, having gone to like public school and university, I always found the Big Bang to be basically like the scientific miracle, like something from nothing, which doesn't make sense.
That's not what Big Bang Big Bang cosmology says. Big Bang cosmology does not declare something from nothing at all. Is that the only part of it that you think is more probable with a God?
No, that was just the first example I picked on. But so what is Big Bang cosmology? So what is it? So everything came from something?
No. Big Bang cosmology is a mathematical description of the expansion of the universe, not the origin of the universe. It is the expansion of space-time and matter in space-time. It is not the origin of the universe. The universe may have always existed.
My high school teacher would disagree with you.
Your
But
high school
high
teacher
school
is
isn't so
wrong,
good
and I
anyway.
bet money that
Yeah.
I
No,
bet
I
money
don't-
that
I don't-
it's
I don't
more
argue.
likely. I bet money it's more likely you're misremembering the colloquialism. So because
Oh no
when we're teaching,
I was in. I mean,
Okay.
I was
Never
in,
mind, you
I was
can't
in
be
school
wrong.
for like
Go ahead.
20. No, I can be wrong. I remember very clearly.
okay.
And
Yeah.
memory
Well,
is
if you
totally infallible.
remember it
Totally
very
fallible.
clearly, then there's clearly no possibility of your error. So whether it's your error or whether it's your teacher's error, that's not what the model says at all. So what is it about the actual Big Bang cosmology that you think makes it an example of something that is more probably designed and created by a supernatural God than something that you don't have an explanation for?
So if that's not what Big Bang cosmology is, then I would have used that as an example.
Okay.
I mean,
You got another one?
for something in the give me the question one more time. I'm sorry.
Sure. I put it up on the screen. Can you name a feature of reality that is better explained by a supernatural God
they told me
than a
to turn
natural
off the
process?
screen when I got on the phone.
Okay. Well, I'm reading
No.
it to you as well.
No, I can't
can you
think
name
of
a
anything. No.
Okay.
No.
So since there's nothing you can name for that right now, what other reason do you have for concluding that a God is a probable? Here's a question. This might short circuit things a little bit. We have a lot of mysteries in the universe, and some people try to solve them by appealing to a God, right?
Mm-hmm.
What makes you think that God should even be considered a possible candidate explanation for any observation?
So I don't think that there's anything. I don't think that there's anything in the from base science, from like first principles. I don't think that there is anything that clearly points to a creator more than clearly points to randomness. And that's if there was, then I would think that anybody who believed one way or the other would be a fool. I think that it's unprovable. So that's why when I originally called, I was I'm coming from a Jewish perspective. So when I heard belief, I thought of the word emunah, which is generally applied for things that are unknowable. And there is a concept that a person has a power or a function or a inner, I don't know what the word for it is, and some type of component that allows him to process things beyond understanding, and that's called faith. And that's why a person believes, not based on anything that he sees in the physical universe. The physical universe was created in a way that you can look at it and 100% not believe in God, hence free will. If the universe itself proclaimed that it was created, then it would
I don't know what question
free will.
I don't know what question this is answering, but we were talking about mysteries, whether it's where did life originate, why is there something rather than nothing. Pick any mystery in the universe. The question was, what makes you think God can be an eligible candidate explanation for any observation?
Faith.
Okay. Can you believe true things and false things by faith?
Can you believe things that are false? I'm not trying to argue. The things that are false, you can't apply faith towards them. Faith works for real things. Of course you can. It can't be proven.
Of course you can. I could exercise faith that my partner is not cheating on me, even if they are, right?
Exercise faith that your partner is not cheating on you, even though they are. No, I would say that I would say that if there is something that is quantifiable, it's either true or false, or either cheating or not, you wouldn't apply faith there. You would just be a blind idiot to apply faith in such a situation. Faith is for when you cannot prove.
Okay, I have no idea, and neither do you by your own admission, what you can or cannot prove. But if I have no way of determining if, so for example, let's say I meet someone and I go out on a date with them. And when we're done with the date, I go home and they go home. And a little while later, they send me a text message that says they love me and want to go out with me again. That statement is either true or false, correct?
Yeah, yes, either true or false.
Okay. And without any ability to investigate beyond that, I can be convinced that it's true or convinced that it's false, independent of whether it's true or false, right?
Yes.
So both of those would be an application of faith as the justification for my position, correct?
If we're using faith, then yes. Although I don't think that this is where the term faith gets used, which is why I said before that it's kind of a word game, which I'm not like.
It's not a word game. It's not a word game. You're the one that's coming closest to playing word games, because every time we use normal English language and then define it and describe it in great detail, as soon as it gets to the point where it would expose the error in your thinking, you want to complain that it's word games.
No. I'm really not.
You really
I'm
are.
Very.
Go back and rewind this. You've done it every single time. So it's possible for me, as an exercise of faith, to be convinced of something and be wrong, correct?
Using your definition of faith, yes.
Okay. What's your definition of faith?
For the sake of this conversation, and I'm just
do you have multiple definitions of faith for different conversations?
Yeah, faith is an English word. It means, just like belief, we had different definitions for belief a minute ago. Faith can mean different things.
What's
also.
your usage of faith for this one as an epistemology?
So when I use faith, I use it primarily as the impetus for belief in a deity that cannot be proven.
Wow. So your entire definition of faith for the purpose of this only applies to gods, and only applies to gods that can't be proven.
So, yes, I don't mean to say that you can't use the word faith elsewhere in the English language. I'm just saying that when I use it, that's what I mean.
Listen to me. Your definition of faith applies only to gods that cannot be proven for the purpose of this conversation, correct?
Yes.
You've already admitted that you have no idea whether or not any god or your God can or cannot be proven. And therefore, your definition of faith does not apply to the God that you're using it for.
No, I think my God can't be proven.
Can you demonstrate that your God cannot be proven?
How can you demonstrate
That's not my problem. You're the one making a claim. I can't help it if you make claims you can't demonstrate.
Can I prove that the God that I believe in cannot be proven? No. I can't prove that he can be proven, just like I can't prove that he exists.
Then your definition of faith does not apply to that God. So what else have you got?
No, I can't prove that he exists.
No.
I didn't
your
say
definition
that
of God,
proven.
Your definition of God, your definition of faith was dependent on a God that can't be. I'm sorry. Are you just? I tell you what. I'm gonna let Mandisa talk to you because I've talked a lot, and I'm trying not to lose my shit, and I will not be talked over by someone who's desperate to
I'm sorry.
dodge the
I'm not
very,
trying
very,
to.
very simple bits of language and talk over me.
I'm not trying to talk over you.
Yes, you are. You're doing it very well.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mandisa. I should
I'm
have
going to let
stopped a
you
long
guys
time
go
ago.
because I didn't mean to
Because you're a
offend you guys.
coward.
And
Yeah.
if you that's okay. I'll accept being a coward.
Cool. You should start caring about truth,
All right.
and then I will change my view of you, because you've already said that rationality is not your keystone. You should work on why it's a good thing to be rational. Take care, Josh.
All right. You have a great night.
Right.
Thanks. I figure it's time to put that up for chat, because while I definitely did not lose my shit, there are people who will probably think that calling someone a coward when they run away like that might count. And so I might end up owing you guys $50. We'll see.
Well, that went on long enough, longer than you would usually tolerate. So kudos to you for that.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was kind of weird. Like, we've had a parade of weird calls. We've had the silver cord call, and, you know, God is obvious call. And now it's, I don't think God is provable, but I'm going to spend a whole bunch of time pretending that I'm justified in believing in a God that's not provable.
Yeah.
While also saying I don't care if I'm rational.
It's been a night. Or it's been
We have other theists, and I'm incredibly optimistic. So here we go. Calling in from I probably shouldn't have taken this. It's Adam from Croatia again. Pronouns are he, him, saying easily proving God exists. Well, this is going to be a true test. Adam, you're on with Mandisa, and maybe me. How do you easily prove that God exists?
Yes. Hi, Adam.
Hi. It's very easily. We live in these end times. So one of the events that is described that is going to happen very soon is the great warning that will be sent by God to all mankind. It is announced in all the apparitions of the Virgin Mary happening, and it's gonna be a day when you're gonna.
Adam?
It's gonna happen. Yes.
Adam?
Wow.
Didn't I ban you the other day when you called me?
Yes.
Okay. So we have Artie, is a theist calling in from Ohio, pronouns are he, him. Artie feels like there's a God, but not the Christian God, and defines God as all things that are true, whether you believe in them or not. So, hey, Artie, I guess I'm not even going to ask the question I was going to ask. Go ahead. Welcome to the show. Tell us what you're thinking and why we should agree with you.
Well, I just don't know what. Well, okay. I mean, I was raised Catholic, and I was Catholic for a long time, and I just came to a point where I just don't think the Bible is at all a reliable. It's just not true. It's certainly not something to base your life off of, because there's just so many things that are contradictory to what I actually believe. But I have trouble considering myself an atheist, because I still think I read Spinoza, and I just kind of believe. I guess that makes me a pantheist, but I don't really know if I should. I just have trouble. I'm having trouble defining how I really feel about things, and I just I believe I watch your show all the time, and I feel like it's I agree with the atheist ideologies, I guess, or atheist whatever you want to call it. And I believe that, but I also still believe that I believe that, I mean, there's a force out there, I believe, that I only know how to refer to it as God. And
Artie,
I just feel like it's all the, yeah.
Artie, I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you for a moment. You said that you were raised Catholic, but that you have basically come to the conclusion that Catholicism and Christianity is not real, or that doesn't prove the existence of God, correct? That's what you're saying?
I think the Bible is not a good thing to live your life by. Is not a good ruler to live your life by.
So
And I guess that's where Christianity comes from. Yeah.
Okay. So there are hundreds of other religions and hundreds of other gods and beliefs and other entities that other people believe in. Which of them have you explored? If you have, that may that may resonate, or that may reasonably, make you think that a God still exists.
Well, there is. I researched Buddhism a little bit. I don't think that there's not. See, I feel like when people say that there's a God, that they're theists or whatever, you think that that there's like an entity or a person or like I don't know if you want. I mean, that's certainly the way I felt about when I was a practicing Catholic. I felt like that there was like one guy, and I just don't think there's one force out there that does it. But I think that there's a reason why electrons bond the way they do. I think there's a reason why there's a reason why gravity exists. There's a reason for the laws of for the laws of physics, the laws of chemistry. And all those things are a reason. And when I read Spinoza, it kind of spoke to me. So I mean, I feel like I am on the atheist bandwagon for most of this stuff. Seems like 95% or plus, whatever gets your calls are all Christian callers, and I mean that stuff's just obviously not the Bible. Just obviously, it doesn't speak to me. It's not what I would want to rule. It's just they endorse slavery and all this other stuff that I just think is wrong and has always been wrong. But so I can reject the Bible as a guide to live my life by, but I still feel like there is some force that binds all the laws of nature together. And so by that definition, I feel like I have to I have to say I think that there's something that's a God, but at the same time, it's certainly not. The Bible didn't describe it.
Okay, then Artie, like what? Yeah, I mean that was the question. If you are rejecting the Bible, then what is your guide?
I like I said, I feel like there are certain things in the world, in the universe, that are true, whether or not you believe them or not. The gravity, math, the laws of physics, evolution, whatever, I mean, there's just certain things that just are. And I feel like the force that makes them the way they are is what I would call God. I mean,
how do you know there's a force? How do you know there's a force that makes things? How do you know there's a force that makes things how they are, and how can we detect that force?
Well, I mean, I guess maybe I shouldn't say it's force, but there is some reason why if I hold an orange out in front of me and I drop it, it's going to fall to the ground every time. There's some reason why the mass of two objects is attracted to each other, right?
Okay.
I mean, there just is. And
are you basically saying that there's some reason that physics has to operate the way physics operates?
I don't know if there's a reason that physics has to operate the way physics
I'm
operates.
sorry. I thought you
But
just said
physics,
there has to be a reason. And gravity is a part of
yeah,
physics, right?
yes.
Okay.
I would say that. I would say that there, for whatever reason, if I combine 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom, I'm going to get water for whatever reason, and whatever that reason is.
Not necessarily.
Okay, in most circumstances, or
In a
whatever,
particular in a particular type of bond, chemistry dictates.
set of circumstances.
Sir.
Yes.
So under that, the way chemistry works and the way physics works, you end up with a water molecule. Yes. How do you know it could have possibly been any different? And why do you think that it required an intelligence to force it to be that way? Hello?
Artie, are you there? I think we lost Artie.
Did we lose call?
Hello.
Okay,
Hello?
there you go.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. I don't know. I think I might have touched my phone funny or something. No, but what all I'm saying is, I'm not saying there's. I don't know what else to call it, but I call it a force. But I'm saying for some reason, the laws of physics, whatever and I'm not a physicist, so I can't explain on that. But for whatever reason, the laws of physics and the laws of chemistry and the laws of whatever, the laws of science all exist. And
what question did I ask?
You asked why I think that there was some intelligence that
I asked if you know that they could have been different, and why would you think an intelligence were required to make them what they are?
I don't think there has to be an intelligence involved. However,
why would you call the natural order of things God?
Because when I think about God, and certainly I'm sure it comes from my background and everything, that because I was raised Catholic, Christian, whatever you want to call it. Everybody, it's been drilled into me that God is all the things that are basically God is all the things that are true no matter what. And so I evolved that.
Is it true? Is it true that after I eat corn, my poop has corn kernels in it?
Yeah, I would.
Is that a part of God?
Yeah, I mean, I would think.
Is that a part of God?
It's a part of the natural. It's part of the natural progression of the world. So I suppose
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't see what the justification is for saying X is true, therefore X is God. Why not just say it's true?
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess I don't think there's much of a difference in saying that.
I think there's a huge difference. Because if a statement is true, then it's true, and we already have a word for it. And if a statement is true and you say it's God, you're lending credibility and substance to a bunch of God claims that aren't true. That seems to me to be a contradiction.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just don't. I guess. Yeah. I just feel like I'm. I just feel like I'm kind of. Torn. I mean, I feel
torn
like
between what?
If I were to.
Do you have reason to think that the universe could have been any different?
No, I think the universe formed the way the
If
universe
you have
is
no reason, if you have no reason to think the universe could have been any different, then it doesn't require any sort of special explanation, does it?
It doesn't require it, but I mean, how else would
It
I
just
describe
is the way it is,
how-
right? And it couldn't have been any other way, as far as you can tell.
And that's what I'm saying. My definition of God is all the things which are true.
Your God,
whether you believe
so
it.
your definition of God is the fact that things are the way they are and probably couldn't have been any other way. That's God.
I would, yeah, I think. I mean, what?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how else.
What use?
I mean,
what value is there in me recognizing the natural order and calling it God instead of just natural order or truth?
I don't think there really is much of a
Then
difference.
why are you using a term that is used by countless people to exploit and manipulate and control people when you could just say this is true?
I guess it's social lubrication more than anything else. I guess I don't know. I mean, so I have. I mean, I don't want to be confrontational with people, but at the same time, I don't want. Obviously, I live in the United States. Obviously, the vast majority people I run into are Christians, and I mean, it just gives me a way,
right. Artie, if I may, I'm going to say that what you're dealing with is not uncommon. It's very common, especially from people who are deconstructing their Christian upbringing. It often tends to be very confusing. You do tend to have very mixed feelings, and you're trying to better understand yourself as well as unpack, new information. You are in a space where a lot of theists are and have been, and many atheists were. So what you're dealing with is quite common. I just want to let you know that it's not anything that you're going to get beat up over here, because we understand the very, very, the emotional impact that it has to be where you are. You're not necessarily sure where you land or where you fall right now.
And Mandisa picked a really good day to say you're not going to get beaten up over here, because on another day, I would have absolutely mildly beaten you up, because what you just described to me is that you don't actually believe in a God, but because you're surrounded by people who do believe in God, you'd rather pretend as if the truth you believe in is God enough so that you don't find yourself in confrontation with those people. That makes perfect sense from avoiding conflict and making sure you don't pay any social price. But I will point out, as politely as possible, the rest of us pay a bigger social price because of your unwillingness to pay.
Well, I don't. I guess I don't really understand how my beliefs are affecting. I mean, I call
it's very easy. It's very easy because when you, I'm sorry, I'm going to explain it to you. I'm sorry, I'm going to explain it to you, Artie.
Right.
It's very easy because you called into the show, and you are, by every reasonable definition, an atheist. You do not actually think that there is a thinking agent God creator that is governing the world. But you called in and you identified as a theist. And then you talked about how you didn't want to stage conflict. I'm still talking. And then you talked about how you didn't want to end up in conflict with people who are theists. Everything about what you've done here is 100% consistent with someone who's found their way free of religion, but does not want to face the consequences of publicly acknowledging they are free from religion. And you are free to do that. We support organizations like Recovering from Religion. Go to recoveringfromreligion.org. You don't have to come out to anybody. I'm just telling you that every single time you do it, every one of us out here that represent a minority of atheists, but are viewed as a smaller minority than we actually are, we pay the price.
Okay. I can understand that. I mean, I can understand that. I can understand that. But I mean, if I had to, I feel like if I had to identify myself as either a theist or an atheist, one of those two things, I guess I would say an atheist, but I feel like I'm more of a pantheist than anything. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing as a theist, but that's not the same thing as a theist, though. I mean,
no.
I mean,
well, Artie,
I feel like I'm more aligned.
Artie, you didn't. When I asked you what other, what other philosophies or other religions or other entities that you identify with, you never responded to that.
I guess I don't even know what you're. I mean, I
like, for example, do you believe that Allah is a reasonable God to believe in?
No.
Okay.
I haven't really studied enough. I haven't studied enough Islam to make.
What about Krishna? What about Zeus, or what about Odin? Any of those gods or any of those forms of mythology?
I have never encountered any type of God that has created, that have been created by humans. All gods are obviously created by humans in some sense, I think. But the only one that makes sense to me is Spinoza's God, or concept of God, because I feel like when you say God, you're talking about an individual. But I feel like Spinoza's concept of, in which pantheism is, and I just
actually I will say this, Artie. Are you familiar with the ancient pharaoh Akhenaten out of Egypt?
No.
Okay, so Akhenaten was actually one of the first people historically to facilitate the concept of one God, and that God was the sun. Now, we know that the sun is a star. It's a ball of gas, but the sun is responsible. It helps sustain life. It can take life away. Do you see that as like a plausible explanation for God?
I believe the forces that cause fusion within the heart of the sun are, and which causes obviously the energy to be released. I believe that whatever I believe that's God. Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that it's.
But the sun is a ball of gas. It really is just there's no fusion in them. It's a star.
That's how.
And it's full of gas.
Stars are formed. It's because all the compact, all the gravity.
But what makes it God? I mean,
it fuses itself. I'm just saying the fact that if you get a big amount of gas, helium or hydrogen together, it's going to fuse into helium and reduce energy. And the fact that it does that, it'll do that everywhere in the universe. The fact that it'll do that is the only thing, is what I would call God. And I guess that makes me a pantheist, but I would identify myself more as an atheist in reference to all the call-in shows like this. But if I'm honest with myself, I still think that whatever the properties are that makes hydrogen under a lot of pressure fuse into helium and release energy, that's what I I don't know what else to call it, so I call it God. And
you can't call it
like
fusion?
I said,
Yeah, why can't it be fusion?
you can't call it fusion. The fact that fusion happens,
What?
the fact that there is something,
Okay.
the fact that when you
Artie?
get a bunch of matter together,
Artie?
Yeah.
You said that on call-in shows like this, you'd identify more with an atheist, but you did call in and say that you were a theist. Would it be okay?
I feel it. Okay.
Would it be okay for me to start calling my poop God? Do you think that is a useful application of the term?
If you want, well, I don't think your poop itself is God, but the process,
Why not?
which it's because it's the process which converts your food into fecal matter.
So that my digestive
that
system,
God,
my digestive system, according to you, is God, and my limbic system. How about the system that gave me diabetes? That's God too.
The way your body works, because your body just works on a bunch of. I don't know what else to call it.
Is physics God?
Yes. That's what I would call God. The laws.
So why isn't my poop God? Because my poop exists through physical processes that bind molecules together. Those are still just molecules. It's just like a sandwich or anything else. It's just mushier.
The process is what I would call God, not the actual outcome. I mean, I wouldn't call the actual.
How can there be a process? How can there be a process to act upon matter without matter?
There can't be. I mean,
okay.
I wouldn't think.
So why would we call the process God if it's useless without matter?
I would think the reason you call. I mean, I'm just saying, all this stuff in the universe exists, right? And
really, that's all you're saying is that all the stuff in the universe. You called me and spent 23 minutes explaining that all the stuff in the universe exists.
No, I'm saying the reason the stuff exists is what I would call God.
Okay.
I mean,
why is there matter?
I can't answer that. I don't know. I don't know why.
And yet you want to call it God. And yet you want to call it God. What if we find out? What if we find out exactly why there's matter and it's not a God?
Then that would redefine my definition. But I'm saying I don't know why.
Oh, so you'll just keep using it,
even
though you just keep using it, not knowing whether you're right or wrong until somebody proves you wrong, right?
I keep using it because I don't know. I feel like it's the process more than the actual matter.
I don't need you to tell me that again. I've heard you every single time and understood it every single time. I'm saying that you're using a term without justification, and what I'm asking, if I'm understanding you correctly, that basically you're saying you're going to continue to do that until somebody understands the process enough to show you that it shouldn't be called a God.
Or somebody can explain to me what else I should call it. I mean, I
already gave you options.
Yeah, he gave you that.
I gave you options, and science has given you options. Why wouldn't you just call, is photosynthesis, is that God? Why not just call it photosynthesis? As a matter of fact, if one process is photosynthesis and another one is a nucleic bond, it would make sense to call one of them photosynthesis and one of them a nucleic bond and not call both of them God. It would seem kind of really silly to confuse things by suggesting that two separate processes are both God.
Well, I think God is just a general term for everything. That all the processes naturally.
Does God exist when nothing exists?
I'm sorry?
Does God exist when nothing exists?
I wouldn't think there's anything there there's nothing there to happen when there's nothing exists. So I would.
So your God is contingent on matter.
It's contingent on a process, whatever. I mean, it didn't have to
I thought
matter.
God was the
I mean,
process.
numbers. No. God is all things which are true, whether you believe it or not. So If you, it doesn't matter if you don't believe. If you don't believe
Okay.
7 times 8 is 56,
Then
it doesn't matter.
I only have one question, Artie. Of what possible use is your God to any of us?
Well, I feel like you live in the world, and the world has processes which happen. So that's why, you know, that's why it's important. That's why it's, you know, you need to. I feel like you need to know the fact that stuff happens. So,
but you still can't explain what that is, so you just call it God. But you know it's not the Christian God.
it's not the Christian God. It's not the Jewish God.
How do you know that?
Because it doesn't make sense.
Oh, doesn't make sense. How?
It doesn't make the literature that which defines every religion. I've never found one that makes sense.
Okay, that sounds like a you problem.
I mean, okay, maybe it is a me problem, but I mean, it's still, you know,
well,
it doesn't change.
Just because you haven't found something that makes sense, that's not a justification for you to declare that something doesn't actually make sense, does it?
If I don't think something makes sense, that doesn't mean I can say it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what if it makes sense to somebody else?
If it makes sense to somebody else, then, you know, it makes sense to somebody else. I mean, obviously, there's millions and millions of people that think that it makes total sense that, you know, that.
And you think they're wrong?
The whole. I think, yeah, I think they're wrong. I think anybody thinks that they're.
How can you demonstrate it?
I think they're wrong.
How can you demonstrate it?
It doesn't. I'm just saying because it doesn't go in line with any of the other, you know, any of the other laws of physics that I've encountered throughout my entire life.
Okay, the God that they're advocating for in a number of these religious traditions are able to violate the laws of physics. Is that possible?
No, I don't think it's possible to defy the laws of physics.
How did you determine it's not possible?
I said because it's from my experience, the laws of physics have never been broken.
Why should your experience be relevant to anything? Is your experience relevant to, you know, how water molecules form?
Is relevant to everything. My experience is relevant to everything that has existed in my life, and my life is I mean, that's all we're after. I mean, it seems like in the end.
No. Actually, some of us are engaged in skepticism, which is to say that instead of declaring X is impossible based on the fallacy of I've never experienced X, we recognize that that is a logical fallacy and therefore is epistemologically flawed and should not be asserted.
Okay.
So why don't you care if you're behaving rationally?
I do care if I'm behaving rationally.
Okay, would you acknowledge that asserting that X is impossible merely because you haven't seen a demonstration of X is in fact an irrational position?
Yes, that is a rational position. Yes, absolutely.
I'm sorry. Did you say rational or irrational?
That is absolutely. That is a very rational position to think.
No, it's not. It's irrational. It is supported by a logical fallacy. When you construct a syllogism to say, I have never observed X, therefore X cannot happen, that is a fallacious argument.
No, that's why I misspoke then. I thought you were saying the opposite. I believe it's absolutely true just because I haven't experienced something that something has existed. I absolutely believe that. I haven't experienced everything that happens in the world.
Then we need to go back because you are the one that was asserting that X was not possible because you hadn't experienced it, correct?
I told you I misspoke when I said that. I misunderstood what you were saying.
So your entire conversation has been one big misspoke. You started this conversation by asserting that the God of the Bible cannot be true, and your reason for that is because you haven't been shown that it's true. And so you're making an assertion about you're making an assertion that X is not possible based on your own limited sample set and information, and that is irrational, right?
I don't believe the Bible is true because
that's not what I asked you. What question do you think I just asked you?
You asked me. You asked me if I didn't think the Bible was true because.
No, I never said a word.
Okay.
I did not ask you anything remotely like if you think the Bible isn't true. I said you claimed that the God of the Bible cannot exist, and you said so because of your personal experience. And then later you acknowledged that it would be irrational to declare that X is impossible because of your personal experience, right?
No, I don't think that is right. What I was saying,
we don't need to hear what you were saying again, Artie. We've been down this road many, many times, and now for a half hour, I'm sorry, I'm still talking. I know that's a little difficult for some people, especially with the delay. But we've given you a half hour of our time on an absolutely useless God, and then when we get down to showing you the logical fallacy behind what you're doing, then you say, "Oh, I misspoke," which means you must have misspoke in the very first sentence of this interaction, which makes the entire half hour a waste of time.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm sorry I wasted your time then, I guess. I'm just saying I don't think the Bible's true.
I don't. Do you really think, Artie, I've been doing this for 20 years. Do you really think that I needed to spend 30 minutes with someone who called in to tell me they don't think the Bible's true?
No, I don't think you did. I don't think you need
Then why did you do it?
Well, why did I do it? Because I called in because I don't know. I feel like I just feel like I don't consider myself a theist, but I don't consider myself an atheist, and I don't really know how else I would, I just call in because I don't really know how to define myself.
Those are the only two options. And those are the only two options.
Well, I feel like I would say a pantheist is more in line with me, but a
pantheist would be a subcategory of one or the other, depending on the definition. But theism and non-theism, theism and non-theism are the only options. You're either convinced or you're not convinced that there is a God.
I believe that, yes, but I feel like I align more with atheism, but at the same time, I
recommend you reach out to Recovering from Religion. But also, nobody really cares what label you used for yourself, especially if you're going to get them wrong or get them non-standard. So call yourself whatever you want.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Artie.
Thanks. Bye.
I got a call we need to take. And it's not going to be an argument or anything else. We mentioned a bunch of events coming up in the near future, and one of them is NanoCon in Nashville. And I've got Patrick here, who I brought on to tell everybody everything they need to know about NanoCon so that you guys who are in the Nashville area or can get to the Nashville area at the end of July, the beginning of August, and want to get a chance to meet me and other people who are going to be there and maybe see a magic show and other stuff. Patrick, what do they need to know, and how the hell are you?
Hey, Patrick.
I'm great. Hey, how's it going, Mandisa? I got to ask you one question, Matt and Mandisa. Are you still doing the I can't remember anything game, or do I get to ask you about some of your past experiences with NanoCon?
Uh, the rule was I get to drop the game whenever a caller asks me to.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess since we have the privilege of speaking to two of the OGs of NanoCon, seeing as I just realized you guys have probably been at NanoCon in Nashville, Tennessee, more than just about anybody else in the community. You know, it's a real privilege. And as far as people who are wondering what the hell it is, it's a weekend event that happens at the end of July, July 31st through August 2nd. And the main day, when both Mandisa is going to be doing a workshop and Matt is going to be doing a magic show, is the Saturday, August 1st.
Awesome, possum. And I will say, so NanoCon is one of my all-time favorite organizations and events. And I have quite a few up. I mean, in October, I'll be going back to Florida to hang out with some of my favorite people around, and I'll tell you more about that when it gets closer. NanoCon is one that's near and dear to my heart, and once, I don't know how many years ago, I drove all the way from Texas to pack up and do a magic show. And technically, I think I was guilty of committing a school shooting under the technical definition of the law, because NanoCon took place in the auditorium of a public school, right?
That's right.
I did, as part of the magic show, I had a starter pistol, a blank gun. That was part of a magic trick where you would, they would fire it at a deck of cards. And let me tell you, I figured, hey, there's no issue here, no nothing, it's not a real pistol. It's one step above a cap gun, but it was loud. Well, it turns out the way that the law was written at the time, you could have said that because this was technically a firearm with cartridges inserted, that I fired at a gymnasium or an auditorium at a public school, that I probably broke some ordinance. And so this year, even though we're not at a public school, I will not be bringing anything remotely like a firearm, although I might bring a rubber band that I can shoot.
Nice. Well, yeah, I definitely would have said lock him up, but this time, since we're not in a school, we're in a state park, so I guess anything goes, right?
Yeah, and by the way, we realize it's an incredibly difficult year, both financially, gas prices, just general economy over it all, and also, I don't want to get into this, but I do want to at least touch on it real quick. And that is,
sure,
there have been some individuals who, for whatever reason, including individuals who weren't even at the last NanoCon, who have been absolutely trying to do whatever they can to tarnish their reputation and make people feel unsafe or, threaten all of this. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to have Patrick on today.
Sure.
This stuff has been talked about to death. And the harsh reality is that you have all the information that you're going to get and that you need. And you already know that this organization has consistently done everything it can to improve and make things safe. And there is no reason, as far as I'm aware, for anyone to remotely be concerned. And everybody who goes to NanoCon year after year that I've spoken to, granted, that's my sample size. So after chastising Artie for his sample size, I'm going to use mine. But has been incredibly positive. And while I know that this year is going to prove to be more difficult than others with the economy and everything else, of the people who are returning and the people who are participating, what's been the general tone, Patrick?
Yeah, well, thanks for the opportunity to chat about that. Yeah, I would agree that, we have a long-running convention. In fact, this will be the 10th year since the first one in 2016, and we're very lucky to have not only an incredible team and some mutual friends of ours, like Cantor and others who do provide security. And also we have developed over the years a very clear code of conduct, how we expect people are going to relate to each other, which is, I think, a good conversation to have within not only the secular community, but all communities. And we really care deeply about the safety of everybody that shows up. And we also have a process that in case anybody ever needs to talk to somebody or, like we have a hotline, we have some trained volunteers and people who are more than volunteers, like do this professionally, who can meet people's safety questions or, whatever the situation might arise. And I'm also thankful that this year we are going to be, we've always had a really good working relationship with the park rangers, with security that we hire, so it's going to be a well-organized event. And honestly, and I'm not just saying this because you guys are going to be on the, the lineup, but this year being our 10th anniversary is pretty much like, it's a dream lineup. Not only Matt and Mandisa are coming, and Monty Mader, who is an amazing content producer, our mutual friend, Promise Backlund, is coming, not to mention Hemet and Forrest. So, just the lineup is stacked, and people have every reason to expect that it's going to be a fun event and well-run, and it's a safe space where we can all experience that community among secular people, which is increasingly harder to find. So
I got to throw in one quick
question.
Yeah, I got to throw in one quick clarification. That's that Promise will be there virtually.
That's correct. Good catch. Yeah. Thank you. She will be streaming in from Finland. Thank you.
There were complications. Originally, I was so excited because she was going to be there. But you know what? My dumbass will be there. And in addition to doing a show, and maybe, I don't know, Patrick might have a workshop for me or something, but I will be around. You can ask me all the questions that you always felt were weighing on your mind to know how on earth I've maintained some sense of sanity, or how after 20 some odd years I can come in and sit down here and maintain my composure, kind of on a bet. And it's because I'm cheap. I don't want to give up any of my money. No.
And I will say that I think the only year of NanoCon that I missed was the first one, which was in 2016. So me and Black Nonbelievers have supported and been a part of NanoCon since 2017 and this year. And I will say that for Black Nonbelievers to have been in existence for 15 years, we're celebrating our 15th anniversary this year. And we also got dragged into this controversy unwillingly, and in an attempt for folks to try to bully people out of supporting NanoCon. And sadly, BN has experienced this. You don't get to, and I know you can attest to this, Matt, you do not get to 10, 15, 20 years without seeing some or having witnessed or be a part of some sort of controversy in this community. I know Matt and I have definitely taken hits over the years. But the one thing that has been consistent with all of us is that many of the in-person conferences and events have always been very safe. They've always been very welcoming, and having just hosted our Revival of Reason, it has been no different. Right. I mean, there have always been folks, it's folks who are good at conflict resolution, and I think many of us have been, which is one of the reasons why some of us are still around. But I think it's important that, first of all, Nashville is very drivable from the Atlanta area. Even though one of my least favorite parts of the trip is going through Chattanooga and that mountain range. I do it every time, but I absolutely love this. I do appreciate and love being a part of, NanoCon, and I love that NanoCon loves us being there. And it's absolutely going to be fantastic again. It'll be good to see Matt again in person. We try. We'll be seeing each other probably a couple of times this year, and it's always a pleasure to see our old friends and who feels like family, as well as meet new people. And I think that folks who have never attended any of our events should not, or maybe one or two, should not get to speak on them in such a way that they try to tear them down, and especially on the words of bad actors, because there are quite a few. Unfortunately, we do have to encounter folks who are still deconstructing from religion and indoctrination, and they do so in ways that are not healthy and safe. And we always have to navigate through. And from everything, by all accounts, it was done so in a manner that was caring, in a manner that was thorough, and really, for those who, because we were, me and the BN team were at the convention. We were, we did leave a little early that Saturday night, but but for all intents and purposes, it was very, very safe. I think everything was handled with the utmost professionalism. And again, those who are simply trying to, kick dirt or cause controversy are the ones who are not interested in truly building community. And I say, you know what, for that, for all of the people that we have encountered over the years who have been very dedicated, who dedicate their time, who dedicate their money and spend their money and support everything that we do. It is important for us to keep that going, and all of us to stand in solidarity with each other. So I am all for that.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, Mandisa. And I 100% agree that, there's people who, have never been to NanoCon, who are, trying to, I guess haters gonna hate is the best way I can describe it. But for those of us who, exactly. But
that's what Taylor said,
who have been doing it and who are well known in terms of who we are and what we stand for and the type of events that we try to organize. It's a safe space and it's community for all of us. And I look forward to celebrating, like you said, 15 years of Black Non-Believers. That's awesome. And appreciate you guys coming out every year, like you said, since 2017. And Matt, that you are the most frequently coming speaker, and participant, 2017, 2018, 2022, and now for the fourth time. So pretty much like you've been carrying us on your coattails ever since, Matt, and want you to know how much we appreciate that. And we're looking forward to the magic show on Saturday night.
I will try not to screw it up.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I will try not to screw it up. I just was saying we got to move on to a couple callers, but it's at nanocon.rocks, ROCKS. That's where you can go to find out all the information, including getting your tickets to head down there and spend that weekend with us. Patrick, any last words?
No, that's it. Thanks so much for taking my call, and look forward to seeing you guys and any of your 1,000-some callers that are listening. Look forward to meeting some of y'all too.
Awesome.
And have a good one, Patrick.
Feel free to call back a couple more times between now and then, but we'll talk to you later.
I appreciate it. Take care.
We have, we lost a caller, which is fine, but we're down to two, and I'm so disappointed because the one I was taking next is the one that we just lost. And so there's somebody screening right now. I'm going to see if they're the same caller. Because somebody called in as an axial theist.
Oh, yes. I saw that one.
About people who do good or God. And I really kind of wanted to understand what they're talking about. But in the meantime, Matt is a theist from Pennsylvania, pronouns are he, him, who wants to talk about simulation theory and how that plays into God. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Hey, Matt.
I'm doing good. What's going on? What's going on? So I just want to let you know I am a graduate from the Catholic University of America. So I am very well versed in God. I went to the school that the Pope created. A lot of divine intervention going on here.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure that your credentials are remotely relevant.
Agree to disagree.
Are there people?
So anyway,
are there people? Are there people who went to the Catholic University of America who graduated who really aren't good representatives and knowledgeable?
Probably. But Don Shirley went to the Catholic University of America. You ever see the movie The Green Book?
No. I'm just saying that you started off by basically making an argument for how much you know, and then you were forced to admit that the people with the same education than you might not know very much either. So that kind of makes my case that I don't think your credentials are really relevant. But if you have a good argument, that's all that matters anyway. It didn't matter what your credentials were.
All right, awesome. All right, yeah. So let's get into the substance. Fair point. All right, so the simulation theory is one that a lot of smart people acknowledge. Brilliant minds believe that we are living in a simulation, or at least that there is a 50% chance we are.
Could I ask a favor?
A favor?
Yeah. I'd like you to stop poisoning the well with virtually every sentence you make, talking about how, this is what all the smart people believe, as if it's not possible for you to be wrong about what percentage of smart people believe it, and for smart people to be wrong about something. Can we agree that the number of people who believe something, nor the strength of their convictions, is in any way a testimony to whether or not it's true?
All right, sorry. Next time I call, I'll try to find some dumb people who make my points. But for now,
no.
For now, yeah,
I'm pretty sure you already did. I'm pretty sure you already did, Matt, because every single time you've opened your mouth so far, I've been able to remain incredibly calm and expose a logical fallacy in what you appear to be asserting. Why can't you? For example, I'm not convinced that simulation theory is real. I'm not even sure that it's fully testable. I don't care what percentage of people believe it. I'm in my first day here on the job as well, so I don't have any thoughts at all. So would you agree that either simulation theory is true or not true, right? Those are the only options?
Really no way to know, but I think it's true. I think it makes a lot of sense.
No.
So
I'm sorry. I don't know why that was so difficult. Would you agree that simulation theory is either true or not true, and that those are the only options?
Yeah. Sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, yes or no.
Right now, does the likelihood that a God exists, is that in any way contingent on whether simulation theory is true or not true?
I think it makes sense to have God be part of a simulation. I think God has a positive impact on a simulation. We are indeed in a simulation.
What question do you think I asked you?
That you asked me about God in relation to the simulations. Here, ask it again. I'll answer it directly. Sorry. Trying to get to a point. I apologize.
I really don't feel like I really don't feel like doing all the work where I have to ask a question and then you don't listen repeatedly and answer a different question and then want me to do the work of asking the same question again. So I'll try this one more time, but I really don't want to keep repeating myself. It's
all right, sorry. They're difficult questions.
You're likely to raise a lot of money for black non-believers, so good job there. But as it stands right now, I'd rather give it to them out of the kindness of my heart. So whether simulation theory is true or not true, is one of those scenarios more consistent with the existence of a God? And is it contingent? Is God's existence contingent on the existence or non-existence of a simulation?
In my opinion, yes. Yes.
Okay. Which one is it contingent upon?
Which one is it contingent upon? Which simulation theory is it? Which God? What do you mean exactly by which one?
Okay. I apologize in advance, Matt. I'm probably just going to go ahead and give them $50 because I no longer believe that you are remotely honest or paying attention. I broke down an incredibly simple question, which was, is God contingent on either the state of affairs where a simulation exists, or is God contingent on the state of affairs where a simulation does not exist? You agreed
Right.
that in your opinion he was contingent, and I asked contingent on which, either, the simulation existing or not existing, and you somehow went to which simulation he might be contingent
Right.
on.
Sorry. Okay.
No,
I
no,
got
we
you. I
were
got you. All right.
only,
So
I'm sorry, I'm still talking. We were only ever talking about two different state of affairs, one where a simulation model actually is true and one where it is not. We did not go into
right.
different simulation models, and I would think that different simulation models would largely be pointless if the first step is to demonstrate that a simulation model is more likely than not. And so I'm just going to pass, Matt, because I don't think you're ready and I'm not interested.
Oh man, come on! Can I just get into this? I mean, I said yes.
No,
it is
no,
contingent
no.
on the
See,
first
the problem
situation.
is that you can't get into this, as you've demonstrated right from the beginning when you talked about the Catholic University of America. You demonstrated that you don't understand either how to make a point or how to be taken seriously making a point. And once you learn that, call me back. You might have made $50, but I think I maintain the cool.
Yeah, you did, especially since the other Matt was saying how well learned he was because he went to this Catholic university.
It's wild. See, I haven't looked. I don't know what percentage of scientists actually think. And by the way, it's not just scientists, it's scientists within the relevant fields feel that we are likely living in a simulation. My understanding, I couldn't use this on the call because it's my first day. But if I slip outside of my first day for a second, my understanding, and Blitz, if you're out there, I'd love it if you'd call in and just double check me on this. I thought it was determined that the processing power required to simulate the data for a set the size of the universe would have to be bigger than the universe or something along those lines. And it's a good thing that I'm on my first day and don't understand that stuff, because now I don't have to pretend to understand it. But I do understand the basics of logic. And when you call in to say, I'm an exceptionally well-trained Catholic from the Catholic University of America, well, you shot yourself in your left foot with that. And then when you can't figure out the questions that are being asked, the very basic questions of, is God contingent on the simulation that you're advocating, you shot yourself in the other foot with that. And as somebody who's spent decades sitting here doing this, I bet if we put up a poll right now, if the other Matt was a almost certainly dishonest Philbro, I bet the response would be very high. And the problem with that is we could be wrong. Like, Matt could have just been a Catholic who sincerely got interested in this and really feels that if in fact we're living in a simulation, that's somehow consistent. But it's now, to be fair, he said he went to the Catholic University of America. He did not say that he was a Catholic.
Right.
Because I think simulation theory would be in conflict with Catholicism.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you were sent to, essentially, that this would be a fiction in which Christ died in a fiction. I mean, That doesn't make sense to me. So maybe we'll get a Phil Bro back who is a Catholic and thinks they're in a simulation and can explain how that makes sense with Catholic doctrine, rather than how it makes sense after you go to the Catholic University of America, because I'm not impressed. Somebody said he also didn't say graduated.
I thought he said he was a graduate, but
I thought he did.
Yeah,
I thought he did.
I thought he said he was a graduate, so
it doesn't
and that's
matter.
Why he
it's
was
hard
so
to keep track
right.
of.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep track of everything. I'm sorry. Here,
yeah.
let's have a minute here. Hey, is this the Adam I talked to earlier from Croatia?
Yes.
You're still fucking banned. I'm giving $50 to black non-believers. Fuck the fuck off. There, I did that just so that I would have an excuse. Hopefully, it was a good bit with a good joke. Put a poll up on that. Now, actually, don't even put a poll up. I'll just donate afterwards, because there were people in there who were desperate for that to happen. And right now,
you gave them what they wanted.
We're not really getting. There we go. Yes, go ahead. We're doing the polls. Oh my gosh, there's people who are saying no. Don't do that. I want to give them money. We have somebody who's been on hold for 2 hours, and that's just rude of us to keep waiting. So, Sophie is an atheist from Brazil. Hey, Sophie, you're on with Mandisa and Matt.
Hi, Sophie.
Hello there, guys. How are you doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
I'm a little bit nervous.
Don't be. It's just me and Matt.
Great. Yeah. So, you brought up NanoCon, and that's really interesting because I actually wanted to talk about community with you guys. So, I guess I'm not here to discuss at all or to argue. I just really wanted some practical tips or, some literature, something for me to read. I don't know if you want to ask me questions or if I should continue.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've pretty much always been an atheist. My dad is an atheist. My mom is a Jungian psychologist. So her relationship with deities is very symbolic. And I feel like it was really good to grow up in a household where I could, explore my own faith, if you will. And I ended up not having any at all. And even though that's cool and all, and I think that's a privilege, I still never had the experience that people have in church of community, and that's something that I hear you guys talk a lot. I've been listening to the show for years now. I want to say 5 years at least. And it's something that people claim to be the main issue when leaving a religion really is losing that community, right? And I feel like I've never really had that. And today that just really brought me down. I felt really sad earlier today because of that. And I wanted some pointers on how to find my people, how to find a community of like-minded people, or if I don't necessarily find what I'm looking for, how to even go about building it. Where do I even start? So I guess that's what I wanted to know, more practical tips on, how to go about that all.
Absolutely. So I think I can probably help you there. And so, yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experience. And I just want to also say that as someone who didn't formally grow up religious, I do think that it is important for those of us who have pretty much always been atheists. It's good to understand that, not everyone who is an atheist deconverted from religion. There are some of us who are pretty much lifelong non-believers or atheists and humanists, even though we still had to contend with indoctrination.
Yes.
I think that's just as important as those who have deconstructed. For you being in Latin America, I know that can be very much a challenge. However, I know that there is outreach to, like Hispanic and Latin atheists. I know that there's usually a big conference that takes place maybe every 2 years or so, and it takes place in Latin America. I think the most recent one took place in Mexico City. And also there's groups in Puerto Rico. There are groups yay! Follow Matt's lead, by the way. So I've had the opportunity to connect with atheists in Puerto Rico. There are others in Latin America, and you're in Brazil. So of course, the best way would always be to do like a Google search to see if there are any groups near you. But if do you have like any experience with organizing at all? And that's not necessarily, that's just a general question. Have you headed up any type of groups or clubs before?
Yeah, so I was part of student government, both
Nice.
in high school and in university, but that's been like 10 years ago. That was 10 years ago, so it's been a while, and it's definitely not a very broad experience at all.
Okay. So also one of the organizations that I do recommend that you connect with is Humanist International, because they are a huge organization that connects with humanists and atheists across the globe. And so they have groups in the Caribbean. There are groups in Africa. There are groups all across, and of course there are groups affiliated with in the U.S. with that are affiliated with Humanist International. And so there are other Latin countries and other organizations that are affiliated and connected with Humanist International. So they would be able to at least give some guidance on whether there are groups already in Brazil, or if there aren't, how you can start one.
Okay. Yeah, actually there is a Humanist Brazil that I've tried to get in touch with, but it seems like, and they are affiliated with Humanist International and everything, but it seems like, I don't know, it's kind of abandoned, and I kind of wanted.
Yeah, that does happen as well. that does tend to happen
again. Yeah. If that makes any sense, like if I could entice people to make it, be alive again, that would be lovely,
Yeah, sure. So, if you are able to get in touch with the folks at Humanist International, to see how you can revive that group, especially since it already exists, they might be able to help you with that. Because one thing that I strongly suggest people do is to try to get involved with an already existing entity before you create another one. So, and it does unfortunately occur that, that leaders and organizers will start something affiliated, and then life may happen, or something may happen where they may, either disappear or become unavailable. So hopefully the folks at Humanist International will be able to connect you with all of the tools that they have for that group. And if you have folks that are interested, that's the one good thing about social media, is that now we can connect everywhere. And I'm not sure what a Brazilian version of Meetup would be, because that's also a good option. But if Humanist International already has a connection to a group there, even if it is inactive, they can get you started with reactivating it and getting more folks involved, because they have now started expanding. Yeah, they've now started expanding their social media presence. So that would be a very, very good practical way to connect with more humanists and atheists in your area.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Mandisa. Like that's exactly what I needed. I wasn't sure how to go about it because like I wanted to be a part of something that exists already because there's the whole structure that, one person can't really build from nothing, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yes. And so if you don't have to rebuild it from scratch, then I would suggest not. I would recommend you don't
Yeah,
do
for
that.
sure.
So yeah,
For sure.
definitely use the tools that are already there. Um, I can connect. I know Leo Igwe, who is one of the board members. He's on the board of directors for Humanist International. I will let him know that you are interested in reviving or reactivating the Brazilian group there, and so that he can let
Okay.
whoever is in charge of like programming and membership and reach and outreach to respond to you.
That's
Not that I'm
amazing.
trying
And
to name drop or anything like that, but
yeah, that's awesome. That's
Leo
great.
was just in
Yeah.
Atlanta and we had to shut up, Matt.
That's awesome. And do you know like where I would get in contact with them? Like can I just access the website and the email that they offer there should be good?
Yes. Yes, and
Okay, perfect.
I'll make sure that they put you on the fast track there.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's that I can't even like thank you so much. Like
And
I'm a fan of the show and
thank you. Thank
I
you.
had such a bad day and I'm feeling a little bit more cheered up now, feeling like I have a direction, at least for the
Aw.
meantime. So I really
That's so
appreciate
kind.
it.
I had a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
bad day too, and I'm feeling much better in part because of you, because of Mandisa, because of Dragon, because of Lucian, because of the audience, because of everybody tuning in. It's almost a shame for this show to end, but since I'm actually sick, uh, I'm glad you got the answer. You picked the right day to call.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm so glad that I picked the right day to call. And Matt, I actually might want to call again to ask you about a few stuff on the Bible because I know nothing about the Bible, and I kind of wanted to pick your brain about a few things
Oh
another day,
gosh.
perhaps.
Well,
Oh boy.
I'm happy to do it on a day when I'm not pretending to not know anything about it. But I will
Yes, of
also
course.
say, I highly recommend reaching out to my friend Justin over at Deconstruction Zone, who knows the Bible, like an order of magnitude better than I could have ever hoped to. I
Okay.
feel like I've never looked as part of the reason I jokingly did this thing today is because I was watching Justin stream and I was like, I'm just going to pretend I don't know anything because I
Cool.
don't.
No, and you did great today, Matt. You were cool as a cucumber. So yeah,
Well, thank you.
I love the show. Congratulations, guys, and thank you so much for taking my call.
Of course.
Yeah.
And
I'll
thank you
get
for
you.
your incredible patience. You were on hold for like 2 hours and some change. That's
Well,
amazing.
yeah, I knew what I was, getting into, so it's fine. I knew I was gonna wait, but it's been great. The show has been so much fun. I was laughing here, so.
Well, thank you so much. And we will talk to you again soon. I'll do my best to answer your question or just tell you I don't know, which is often the best answer anyway.
Yeah. And
Lovely. That sounds awesome.
I'm messaging Leo right now and letting him know that about your interest in reactivating the Humanist International group in Brazil, so
Thank
that
you so much,
they can reach
Mandisa.
out to you. You are very
Thank you.
welcome.
I can't
Awesome.
tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Zoe. Good night. All right.
Good night.
Whoops. Oh man. Hey, we're gonna do super chats, and I just realized I did never say, like last week I think we did $5 super chats because I'd been off for a couple weeks, and normally we do 10, but because I didn't say, I'm just gonna go ahead and queue them up as fives. This whole way. I'm gonna use this new utility we've got because don't tell Jimmy, but he's a pretty cool dude who does some pretty cool stuff on occasion. So I want to see how this works, and we can alternate. I'll start with the first one. William Mattis, man, awesome. Good to see you. Just for fun, can you give me your best read of this? Omewe Mashendro. Probably wa instead of way. Oh, is it Welsh? Damn, now I'm curious what it is. Oh my Vamushanderu. That's as close as I can get. And it's probably so far off. I got to find out what it was. All right. Greg Markowski says, great to see Mandisa on tonight. Thanks. You're welcome, because I will have Mandisa on whenever we actually can at this point, but here we go.
Yay. It's good to be back.
Your turn.
Okay, so let me see. I don't know if I see them. I don't
You
think
don't see them in
No.
Zoom?
No.
Okay. I
I
will
wish I
read them.
did.
Yeah, I think they're only going to show up for you in the Zoom thing, but maybe not. All right. I will be reading all of them. Ha ha ha. I tend to love all of Matt's guests on the Hang Up, but I love Mandisa 38% more than the average. Always good to see you. That's Joshua Everett. Huge thank you. That's very kind and amazing how you did the math on that.
Right. That's my age. Don't Google it. I'm just kidding. But I wish.
Melatonale. Husband and I were at ROR. I'm Alejandra. We loved the event. It was great to meet Mandisa and see the Godless Gospel Choir. We're also hoping to go to the Unholy Trinity and RCR. Awesome. Well, you're always welcome. Or you could just, once Arden's healed up, drive up and see the zoo. $5 from Queen Detroit Atheist. Whether online or in person, it's always great to see my beautiful friend Mandy. Hashtag being rocks. Hashtag being 15 years. True. It is. I am both clearing out and posting these. This new system is a little confusing only because it's new. It's actually really well done, but don't tell anybody I said that. $10 from 725 Kelly Bean. Matt's doing so well. I'm going to go ahead and donate to Black Non-Believers myself.
Yes.
That's fair. But just so you know,
that. Thank you. I'm sorry. Go
that
ahead.
$10 you sent did not go to Black Non-Believers. That went to me and the line, which means now you have to go over to blacknonbelievers.com and donate another $10.
Oh,
that's how we get you.
Yeah.
But we appreciate it. And I already forwarded a chunk of it just by yelling at Adam for fun. Detroit Atheist Queen, another $5. Don't worry, Matt, I've cussed enough today for Mandisa, you and everybody on this side. I did 8.5 years in the Navy. The only person, like, I don't even cuss as much as some of my really good friends, but I don't have any qualms about it. But lately I've started watching, there's a chef on YouTube. Her name is Olivia, and her brand is I think called Twin Birds, because she, flips off double. She says fuck and other things more than I ever have in my entire life. It's not quite as bad as when you're like watching Generation V, which feels like it was written by a 13-year-old that just snuck out of the house and got permission to say fuck for the first time. And so he's going to say it 93 million times. But yeah. All right, let's get through these. At the Atheist Mechanic, oh boy, what a start to the show, talking about God and his hole, then a bad argument on us being able to astral project from different galaxies. Not sure who their dealer is, but calm it down.
I wasn't going to say anything because, it's interesting how you can hear how certain people talk and you're like,
yeah,
they're astral projecting, all right.
Moira got it. Moira Bannister, $10. Thank you so much. Caller Eric is high as fuck right now. That's true. Roger Mello 20. I just would like to say that I love you guys from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And you're not the only person from Rio watching tonight, and getting some caller information, or some useful community information, not caller information. Melatonin LA, another $10. Holy crap. Holy Zerba. This is Zen mode difficulty level extreme with all these callers. I'm sad I can't stay the whole live. I committed to going to a viewing party for the Mexico World Cup game. Well, go have fun. You can watch it on rebroadcast. You guys should start doing that, sharing the information to all your friends. The Atheist Mechanic says, another $10. Thank you so much again. Last year was my first time attending NanoCon. It was an amazing experience, and I'm so excited to be coming back. I look forward to hanging out with you guys as well. Yeah. This will be, they say it's my 4th trip. I thought it might have been my 5th, but it's at least my 4th. But yeah, don't get me wrong. I've done a lot of conventions. I have an entire t-shirt drawer that is full of nothing but t-shirts from conventions over like a 5-year period. And that's after getting rid of some of them. It was so much fun, on the rare occasion that I got to go down. Like I'd run into Mandisa at Dragon Con.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we were both at an event, she would always be tabling and working her butt off and selling everything. And I would just, I'd end up buying a Black Non-Believer sweatshirt or whatever else, because I'm so lazy. I didn't even bring enough clothing for the weekend. I was just like, I'm just going to buy a t-shirt or get a shirt. So yeah, there's a whole drawer of them over there. I look forward to getting whatever the shirt is for NanoCon this year. You watch, there won't be one, and they'll be like, no, we decided not to. And I'll be like, God damn it, I advertised it. So no promises.
Actually, Matt, if we put up the split screen, I'll be able to read the super chats from there. Because right now, all I see is you. So if it goes to the split screen on Zoom.
Oh, can you go up at the top of the screen and select pin on that one? Like there'll be little 3 dots.
Yep, got it.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right.
And now I can help you read the super chats.
Your turn.
All right. So from Green Man Dave, this $10. Thank you. I'm very excited and looking forward to NanoCon. And we'll be bringing rubber duckies from Hell, Michigan, and crocheted items for the presenters. I'm sad to hear about Promise, but it's all good. Thank you, Green Man Dave.
Still your turn.
Okay. $5 from Alice and Dr. Pepper. Do people with IBS have strong gods in them because they poop faster than people with IBS? Without IBS. Weak tummy people unite. You are gods.
I probably shouldn't have raised a fist. I just was left-handed temporarily.
As someone who's had their gallbladder removed, I can totally relate. So it's like, well, what's the function there? But okay. $15 from Kia Star 67. Because it is the right thing to do, and I've heard it is an awesome group that does much good. If you're talking about Black non-believers, thank you. We appreciate it. And the line does very well, good work as well. So
and NanoCon,
absolutely.
Let me tell you, people who know I've been around for, I've done this for 22 years, something like that. Doesn't matter. More than 2 decades. That's what I'll just say there. More than 2 decades I've been sitting here doing this kind of thing. And let me tell you right now, I've already forgotten what I was going to say. No, what I was going to say is that throughout the course of all this, there are people that I work with that I have great love for and massive respect. And there are friends of mine who are no longer friends because I made bad decisions about who to trust.
Yeah.
It's inevitable that somebody in the movement's going to be a problem, and somebody who may be a problem for you might not be a problem for me. It could be a personality conflict. It's not always just, the end of the day because somebody was inappropriate or stole money or did whatever. But the other day, I called out Richard Dawkins on a Center for Inquiry post as transphobic garbage that I didn't need to pay any attention to. And I was really proud of myself because somebody came in and immediately said, who don't you have a problem with? And I just said, good people.
That part.
Don't have a problem with good folks. One-eyed weirdo. Why does that sound like a dick joke? While religion has been a source of comfort and community for Black people, it has also been a source of exploitation, and it isn't true. Time to let it go and move forward.
Yes, and that is one of the reasons why Black non-believers exist. And one of the things that I've always said when we got started is that, it's not simply to try to convince folks not to believe in God. It's to try to help more Black folks to admit that they don't believe in God. Because there are many more of us out here, but we realize that there are folks that are probably in hiding. Luckily, social media makes it more, it makes it easier to connect with folks. And one of the folks who was at the Revival of Reason was Reggie Finley, the infidel guy.
Wow.
He actually, he bought a ticket and he showed up. And I know he was one of the first Black, openly Black atheists with a platform. And
he invented the platform.
Yeah, he invented,
This was before anybody had ever heard of a podcast or anything else.
Yeah.
I remember he had Bob Price on there. What I don't remember, and this is kind of sad, is I don't remember if we ever spoke. I remember his wife was on an episode. They were on an episode of Wife Swap at one point, back when that was a thing. And I remember, I don't know, some issue somewhere, but it's nice to hear that, people that maybe we don't hear from as often as we used to, for whatever reason, people get tired, people have lives, other things happen. But yeah, that's a nice name to hear from the past, because Reg was definitely doing this probably before, definitely before I did AXP. Probably not quite before I was actually involved in the writing aspect before AXP, but who knows? I'll just give him credit. He's an OG.
Yeah, he is. And one thing we've always done at BN is pay homage and pay respect to those who came before us. And Reggie was very impressed with the work that BN has done, as well as how far things have come. But we realize that we still have a long way to go. And
imagine that.
Yes, and that's what makes our work so important. But we definitely have made some really, really good progress. We've connected with so many folks. We have connected so many folks. And I'm really, really glad that we have been able to maintain those connections, especially through our work of building up community rather than just simply fighting and debating with everyone. I mean, there's a time and place for that, and we've done it. But we've definitely been instrumental in, and it was really good to see him. It really was.
One of these days, I wouldn't mind sitting down talking to Reg, perhaps.
Yeah.
I will say one wild thing in your background. I can't read it all, but there's one woman's face just off to the side of your shoulder.
Yes.
And I keep thinking somebody snuck in and is peeking to look at us.
Yes, so this is our banner. It says empowering the Black and non-religious in community and racial justice. And ironically, that picture was from NanoCon in 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. That is Delisa McAdoo, who is that is a real picture. It's not AI. Also in the picture is the late Gene Taylor, who was the motorcycle guy. I don't know if you remember him. He was bald with the motorcycle. He died in 2022. He was like a father to me. And his death was very much a great loss to our community. He was also a member of the Atlanta Free Thought Society and the Freedom for Religion Foundation. And in NanoCon in 2022, I paid tribute to him during my talk. And so it's interesting how things come back around with these events and how we connect with people and the people that we've loved and lost. It really does, but it does warm my heart to know that we have connected with so many folks over the years.
Yes, absolutely. Greg Lisk, thank you so much. I think it's possible Paul faked a vision to destroy Christianity from the inside, and it backfired spectacularly. I'll take that as a bit of humor in my Zen mode today, and just be like, that'd be funny, and really sad,
right?
That it backfired so bad because it's true that the Christianity we tend to have today is a very Pauline version, and far more dependent on Paul than Jesus, I would argue. But we'll save that for another show. Christianity's Paul's invention, not God's. But we got a couple here, just some pride flags from thank you so much. And Perch Dragon.
Yay! I know Perch Dragon. Thank you for all you do, Mandisa. Much love from the Humanist Society of Greater Phoenix and friends. We miss you. I miss y'all too. I appreciate y'all distributing the BN pamphlets that y'all have requested for Juneteenth. Thank y'all for tabling at a Juneteenth event out there in Phoenix. And I'm more than happy to provide those, the resources for that and the information about our organization. I'd love to come back if y'all will have me.
C. Gray says $5. Great show. Matt letting Adam have it. Looked so with it. Thank you all. It was planned, but only planned for about 30 seconds before it actually happened. I was like, I'm going to do this just to give him money. I don't have to. I can hang up. But I'll do it for the bit.
Okay, so Mr. Chris O'Brien, 89, $5. Actual Catholic University grad here. It's not a seminary. I had a secular education, and I'm guessing the caller never set foot in Hannon Hall. If you know, you know.
And I don't.
Right.
But the final super chat for today, unless somebody gets in, like $100 super chat right at the end. I'm not going to take anything less than $100 after I finish reading this one. So, I mean, if you just throw in more $5 ones, I appreciate them, and I will take them, and I will run away with your money. But I'm not going to read any more unless they're like $100. Is he stalling just to see if somebody will do it while he's reading this one? Maybe. Anyway, S Top 10 says, I live near ATL. What will be expected of me if I join Black Non-Believers, and what can I expect to do? And that is a brilliant question and a great way to end this. Tell us if you're in Atlanta, what do you get out of it? What do you got to do? What's expected of you?
Okay, so if you are near Atlanta and you are going to join Black Non-Believers, you have to sign your name in blood. I'm just kidding. So basically, the best way to keep in touch with us is to join our meetup group. You can find that on our website. There is an interactive map where you can join the meetup group. What we would like for you, what will be expected of you is to just come on out, chat with and connect with some very, very cool people. We also have events where we may volunteer and do community service. If that is your thing, we would love for you to do that. We also do a lot of social events. Sometimes we go bowling. Sometimes we host virtual discussions. You can also become an official member where you can receive discounts off of BN merchandise as well as our annual events. what you can expect to do is you can again connect with other members, laugh, have a good time, even commiserate, hear other people's stories, and learn more about how you can get involved with the broader community. Because we'll also be traveling to like the Ark Encounter protest, we'll be traveling to NanoCon. It will be expected that you will broaden your experience with more non-religious people, and also broaden your horizons and understanding of what it means to be active with a community. And that is all we can ask for, really. There are some events where, we go to a restaurant, you might have to pay for your own food or whatever, but, we usually try to keep things at a nominal cost for people. So if you're just expect to really engage with some good community, and that is the best part.
You might not have to pay for your meal. I heard Mandisa's loaded, and she likes to just buy everybody meals the first time they show up.
I do. When we go bowling, I usually get like appetizers and stuff. I really do that. Sometimes I will. If people don't have, we certainly try to subsidize folks. So that is a thing that we do. So that's what donations to us help cover. We do try to help folks who are in need as well and who need community help. So in addition to running our operations, keeping our website up, keeping up our meetup groups, keeping up our platforms and everything else. So yeah, that does help. So yeah, I mean, we do like to feed people. Anyone who was at the revival will tell you that at lunch one day, I asked two of our attendees, I said, "Are y'all good? Y'all had enough to eat? Have y'all had enough to eat?" They're like, "No, Mandisa, we're just starving." I mean, we had all kinds of snacks. We had all types of beverages. We had all types of food. So no one there went hungry. So yeah, we do love to feed people and make sure that people are nourished.
I only have one final question for Mandisa.
Yes.
Can I get an invite to the barbecue?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fucking
of course you're invited to the barbecue.
We threw a poll up in chat to see if anybody in chat actually has any interest in watching me do the Zen mode newbie day one, ask questions, don't get upset thing again. And I tell you, even though there's only a handful of votes, I mean, you guys there's still enough people in here to completely destroy what this is at. I think we got a good indication. I had fun with it. I always have fun when Mandisa is here. And let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff coming up on the line. Those of you who have seen some folks out, like John Cohen is going to be coming up, I think, in a week or so. I've got some videos to do. But there are some great new content creators that I'm looking forward to introducing you to, partially because it makes my job easier and better. How can you not want to make things easier and better? In the meantime, huge thank you to our call screener, to our producer, to all of our moderators, to those of you in chat who are going through, scrolling. Don't forget about linemerch.com, patreon.com/calltheline. All the links are down below in there. Be ready to go out and participate to the best of your ability with all of these great conventions and interactions going on. We look forward to seeing you then. Tomorrow's the Transatlantic Call-In Show. That's it for me today. Take care.